Hello, thank you for coming to the 7th session for 2026. Today is a very special day. It is my 75th birthday as a human, and I have been anxiously awaiting a session on this specific birthday. I'm 3/4 of the way to 100, and I'm very excited. I would not go back a day in this life. For all the ups and downs, they have been some beautiful, beautiful experiences, and I am who I am today, and I'm happy with me. And I'm thankful for that. So I turn myself over to the I am and initiate that flow. This one has so much energy for today and excitement. So there will be additional energy added to this specific session. And I say, as her spiritual father, I say, I am so very proud of who you have become as this human and as you have progressed in your path. So let us begin. As each of you as humans age, as is the appropriate subject matter to begin with, I think, I tell you this, and I have stated this before. In this ascension, as you increase your frequency, your vibrational frequency of light, you will reverse age. There will be a response by your body to this higher frequency of energy. It will not be instantaneous, so do not have expectations on it to where you are constantly disappointed because you don't see a difference. Some will happen after or during the process of their ascension, so that they will all, at some point, enter into 5D in their preferred, yes, your personal choice of, your prime age, for you to begin your 5th dimensional experience on the new earth. Others will achieve this prior to the ascension, and for the specific purpose of others seeing and knowing, and this being an example for them of how the light affects all that you are, including your physical body. For again, it is made of light, as all energy is made of light. And you are that light being in a human body. So those limitations will be surpassed in this body because, as I have said before, you have evolved into a crystalline body, which has given itself the ability to hold more light and to be that higher light being in all that you will be in 5D. So again, I remind you, do not be anxious. Do not wake up every morning with expectations of, for it will come to each of you in your own time. But it is a truth that I give you, a gift that I give you. And I might add, in that passing that some do when they leave the body and go to what they refer to as heaven or the afterlife or whatever it is referred to, as one could learn from near-death experiences that have been shared in books, videos, documentaries, that those that have newly passed, even in the near-death experience where they're going to be coming back into their body, when they are greeted on the quote-unquote other side, in that other higher vibrational frequency of being, in that reality, they are greeted by loved ones or friends that have passed on previously, but they are all in their prime age. They are all younger than they remember them being. But they know them. There is never the inability to recognize and to connect with those that come to them, to welcome them, even for that temporary visit for some. But my point is this: in that higher frequency of light, you also go into that higher, younger, prime self. It is the choice that you make, and it is the gift that I give there as well. So I wanted to add that. Now, as we continue with the 2026, with all the excitement that this one is having with this 75 years as a human, I do want to mention 2026 will be, as it has been said, an accelerated year for evolving, for accelerating the ascension itself, and should be met with great joy in all of your personal experiences. For everything that has been coming about has been coming into that joy that is heightened, that beingness that is new. And all of you are beginning to feel that light, that energy of difference in your lives in many ways. Each of you on your own level of awareness of and seeing and experiencing and acknowledging changes in your life, but they are there. And again, ask for that you might know these things and experience these things as you should. So, in 2026, all of these disclosures and all of these experiences that will be coming in response to these disclosures, it is a joyful time. So much light is coming that so much darkness cannot be hidden, and so much negativity that others have kept in their heart and in their personalities, in their response to other humans around them, in family or friends, will begin to change. They themselves will choose that change on some level, to some degree. But it is also a change and an opportunity for those in those relationships that are not comfortable anymore, that are not bringing them that joy. They have the opportunity to evolve out of that connection with that person in that intimate one-on-one, as shall we say. So congratulations on that freedom for those who choose it. For it is all a choice. For some, it is something they choose because they want a better life. They want a different reality for themselves. And that is a blessing. For others who want to stay and continue in that with its challenges, again, they will grow from that. And there is joy and blessing in that choice as well. So it is totally individual. Everything is always individual. For every soul and every creation that I have created, in that individuality, in that uniqueness. Now, there are many things that are going to begin very soon, for this is already the halfway point of this 2026. So there will be an additional acceleration of awareness and the sharing of some of this information, but also because there is an additional level of awareness in the collective humanity energy, as well as, again, I say the groupings. For the individuals create the groupings. So there is that accelerated healing that is taking place, and it's a conscious choice. So it is being discussed. It is being organized. It is being addressed, as are the governments in all countries being addressed, to give more truth sharing, to give more disclosures in what has always been the truth in their knowing. But it is time for others to have that truth. And I remind you the importance of forgiving them for holding these truths back. Not so much for their sake, although it is a blessing, but for your own. For in letting go of any anger or any justification of that anger for the distrust that was created, or any cruelties that may have come from that, for the not sharing of that which would have been so helpful for humanity as a whole. But remember, they were not in that level of awareness. Neither were you. As you have evolved, you have come into that. So be in that patience and offer that forgiveness within yourself to them and let it go. Let go of the anger and the resentment. Do not justify it, for it only affects you, and you're holding that within you, and it is a negative energy. So be open to the forgiveness, for the forgiveness brings you back into that facet of unconditional love, which is your highest self, where your joy is, where your healing is. and where you can enjoy the new truths that come out. And there's much sharing that is going to be coming also with technology. And yes, there are those healing beds, as they're referred to, that are coming. The awareness of them is going to be shared, and it will spread. As these truths will spread, more and more will have a physical manifestation in the 3D reality for each of you, for all of you. So there are those, and there are those sources of the information for each of them, the details that you are seeking. And I can already feel you asking for it. And each of them that have asked will receive that guidance to that information. So allow that flowing for yourself. And again, I remind you, allow the discernment. And the discernment, let me tell you, is a simple thing. One has asked me, several have asked me, how do I know what is the truth? How do I know what is true? And I tell you this, that information that comes to you, that creates in you a response of any kind of negative energy, whether it be fear, or it be hatred, or it be some kind of resentment, or a depression, or a sadness, anything that creates any of those negative energies, that is not truth. That may be seated, and the foundation came from a truth, but it has been misused. It has been twisted. It has been used to manipulate you and others to be in these negative energies, so you do not remember and be in your highest self. And even that can cause resentment from some, but do not. For your highest self does not hold that resentment at all. So the truth that is spoken, the information that comes, that brings you comfort, that brings you some level of positive energies of any kind, joy even, the knowing that there is this change, the validation of these truths, the fact that you are being validated as to who you are as a human, being that higher spiritual being flowing through your humanness. So the response will be to these informations, no matter what they are, whatever the subject matter. Let them be embraced and received with positive welcoming of your heart and soul and mind. For those highest truths will bypass the mind to a great degree. They will go directly into your heart chakra. And in that heart chakra, it will be absorbed by that light. And any loose pieces of shadows will be transformed into that light. But to be aware of your response, follow your intuition to when you have sought a truth and it comes to you in information that you are not sure of. Be in that knowing that you may seek these truths, for they are for you. And you are there to begin receiving them consciously through your free will choice. But yes, there is manipulation out there in some, in many. And there are those that are susceptible to that manipulation for their fear. For fear is the foundation of all the negative energy. I have said before, there are two major energies, the essence, the foundation of these energies within a dimensional reality. And that is unconditional love. And then there is fear, not hate. Hate comes from fear. So understand that you have fear sometimes of information that you are afraid of because it upsets your world. It may change something within you. Allow that flowing of truth and love and light. Do not be in fear of anything, for your soul is protected in all ways. The more light you have, the more your immediate environment and your body and everything changes in response to that light. And the light that you are holding is more. And it is constantly healing your body. Be aware of this. For in your body's change to that crystalline body, it has in itself begun that reverse aging. So even though you may not see on the outside when you look into a mirror that which you wish to see in your reverse aging, it does not go directly to the, shall we say, the outer part of the body. For that part is not as important as it is on the inside. For your outer body, your skin, your hair, your eyes, everything about your body is in response to that which is happening within your body. The healing of negative energies, the letting go of traumas, the healing and the removal of that negative energy, or the embracing and the transformation of that energy. So every part of your body is receiving that reverse aging energy. That is that gift of you evolving into your higher self. So your body, every organ, every cell, every atom that makes up this manifestation of physical form of this human body is already healing, is already transforming. And it is not an overnight thing. It has been years in the making. And the psychological manipulation of you were supposed to age a certain way. You were supposed to become weak and wrinkled and so many different things. All that negative, we had been given that information as expectation because that is what has been seen for millennia. Because it has been a negative, again, manipulation, and in the believing of it, it has become the norm for most. But now we're going into a higher truth. And I tell you, I never intended in this creation for you as humans to become aged, to become ill, to have all of the negative things that seem to come and have been coming. Those things will come no more. And that healing that takes place within your body will happen over time, but it too is accelerated. I remind you, everything is accelerated, and all the positive is accelerated. So remember. So within your body, know that there are those healings going on. There are those transformations of the very cells of your being, of the atoms, of the density that is 3D, but becoming less dense with that 5D, and of course the 4D in between. So all of this is taking place outside of your visual. So do not judge what is going, but rather believe, have that faith. And that is that knowing within your heart of that beingness, with that oneness that you are and have always meant to be. And you are now coming into that. Now there are those who, in their curiosity, understandably, are wondering why it's happening now, never happened before. And I tell you, in my simplicity, it is time. And there are elements within all of the universes and dimensional realities that are in balance with this evolving, this ascension that is taking place on earth, for everything on the earth and within the earth. And mostly we speak of the humans because you are the ones that are initiating these changes for yourself and your environment. So the creation was never intended to be this. But now I want you to understand that the energies that are coming in from the other dimensions, from the other realities, is in balance with the all that is that I am. And they are flowing positive and strong, but gently into this reality of a third dimensional earth, in this atmosphere, in this frequency, for this event, for this evolving and this transformation, for those who choose that personal transformation. And for those who don't, I remind you, even you and even they are receiving this light. So when the time comes and they consciously choose to see things in a different light, shall we say, then those will be accelerated for them as well. So there are energies coming in from many planets, from many benevolent beings that are sending their love and their encouragement. For they are in that knowing of what is happening here. For it is a celebrated event throughout the universes, throughout all my galactic beings, and all the benevolent beings that are here helping, including the angels, the angelic realm. And there are many, many levels of those spirits helping, those souls that were created for specific gifts that they have been given, to apply those gifts. And there are elementals. Understand these are real beings. And no, you would be extremely overwhelmed to see them all the time. And they stay in that higher frequency, out of your 3D vision of 3D eyes. But this will change as well as those evolve when they are ready to see, when they are ready to embrace and welcome in their knowing and in their unconditional love, for they will feel that love before they actually see those entities, those souls, those elementals, even the angelic beings. And I want to point out a small detail I find for myself, of course, interesting in all of the uniqueness and all of the different beliefs that humans have evolved with and been given and passed on and shared and created in their creativity. The souls of mine that I have created that are angelic, and they are on different levels for their purpose, each have their own level and their own what you would refer to as powers, but they are simply the gifts of light that flow through them to those that are open to receiving them. But I wanted to tell you, they are light beings, and those things on them that you call wings have manifested as their gift to you as you have come to understand angels as having wings. So they have created those seeming feathered wings as part of what you see, so you will recognize them as such. But in that higher light, as you evolve, those wings will turn into the very light that they are surrounded with and that they emanate, that comes out of them and glows. That is the truth of what those wings are. For they need no wings to fly. You will need no wings to fly as you become more of a light being. There are so many things that will change. There are so many things that you will remember about who you are and who you are becoming. And I remind you, you will always be evolving until you evolve to that highest self, that highest level of evolving. And each one is a more and more joyous level to evolve to. So I remind you, even in 5D, you will continue to evolve, but there will be those there that go to 5D and they will be so overwhelmed by how wonderful and beautiful that they will somehow inside them think, this is it. This is, how could it get any more beautiful? But it can, and it will. And they will evolve to knowing and remembering that there is more to come. There is more to bring that fascination and that joy and that excitement and that peace and that healing and that experience of your higher self. For there are so many new experiences in that higher self that you are. And even now. And from that 5D, it will be very clear. And as you evolve to 60, 70, and so forth, as you grow, so be it. And it is very exciting. Now is a very exciting time. And I did want to share much of this for you on this one's birthday. For it is flowing of that subject matter that she wanted to share as well. For in her knowing, it is part of her joy of becoming 75 years old in this earth realm. And she has come herself to understand, not to expect everything overnight, but rather to allow and enjoy and flow with all of this in that beingness that she is, and the awareness of that. And all of you are coming into that awareness. So relax. Go with this flow as it comes to you individually, for the purpose of evolving into that light being self. Even for the 5D that will still have a human body with a youthful appearance. All of those will have new experiences there in that 5D that go with those bodies. There will be those that were not able to have children here in 3D for whatever reasons. But they will have the ability or the gift to choose and the physical ability to have children in 5D. But again, I cannot tell you too much, for you becoming such impatient humans to be there and have that, and then you miss everything that is in the now here. And that now that you are in now is the most important now, because it is the foundation of you creating that higher reality for yourself. So do not get sidetracked in the fascination of, and the possibilities of even. I simply share some of them so you will be in that knowing. But now, these experiences now, this dealing with these energies and the darkness and the truths that come out that are so irritating, and the choices that you will be making that are positive and of the light. Watch yourself change everything around you. See that power that you are. For I would have you know yourself as that part of the I am that we are, that all that is. And I remind you again, embrace nature, for nature embraces you, and it will accelerate your healing. It will accelerate your joy. It will accelerate the strength with which you deal with some things within your life that are coming in and that you are letting go of. Face these truths, but face them with love and knowing that no matter your choices, if you make a higher choice, it is the one that will bring you levels of joy. That in itself may not be instantaneous, for when you let go of something you're used to, there may be a sadness. But when you receive that which comes into that being, in that space that the shadows used to occupy, when you come into that light, there you will find that joy. And that you will find your higher self, and you will know you as who you truly are. For again, I tell you the highest truth of you. Be in that highest truth of you. And enjoy this 2026 as it accelerates now, by being in that highest knowing. For that will, in many ways, disconnect you with any of the negative situations that show up. It replaces it with the positive. I will end the session now. Again, always with my love of you, each individual you, each with your unique personalities, your strengths, what you think are weaknesses, and anything you think is an imperfection is not an imperfection. It is part of your perfection for this journey, for this evolving. It was that gift that you gave yourself as spirit before you entered this body. Embrace that and allow it to be, and rise above any of that and be in your highest self. And I embrace you with the unconditional love that I am, that you are. Thank you for coming again. Thank you so very much for being you. I love all of you, and I love all that is. Thank you.